You guys see that behind me? Yeah, that's called the calm before the storm. In this month's update video, I'm going to illustrate why the market this spring is set to be as crazy as last year, and potentially even worse. So stay tuned, where I'll go over all the normal analytics and then explain why this year's housing market will be just manic. First up, let's see how last month's sales performed. Last month, we sold just under 3,000 homes. This was a 3% decrease from December of 2020. Now, for context sake, let me explain a couple of things. This was only the second month last year that sales were down from the previous year. As we'll see later, the main reason that sales underperformed wasn't because of a lack of demand, but rather due to supply constraints. Right now, it's like the great chicken wars from 2 years ago. Popeyes could have sold millions more chicken sandwiches, they just didn't have the chicken to make them. Next, let's see what effect this had on the median home price. Now, typically, you'd think that with decreasing sales, that prices would also decrease, or at least stay flat. But we live in a bizarro world nowadays, so of course, as you can see on the screen right now, the median price not only went up, but went up $10,000 to land us at $430,000. Now, let me add some narrative here. With last month's increase, that puts us at 25.4% increase in median home prices in just 1 year. Again, last year our market went up 25.4%. Even with all that madness coming out of quarantine back in 2020, we only went up 11% that year. The last time we even had a 25% plus year was all the way back in 2013. The reason that happened was because the median price was down in the mid 100,000s, and everyone knew that the bottom of our market was officially over. So everyone with a few bucks came out trying to buy up properties, including this was the beginning of the hedge funds buying up rental properties en masse. So as crazy as it sounds, over the past 9 years, our home values have tripled. Now that's some sticker shock. Okay, now let's check out the inventory levels. On the screen now, you can see that we ended the year with 2,272 homes on the market. Just like in 2020, our inventory has decreased 15 out of the past 17 weeks. Now, more staggering, as of right now, that's 12 straight weeks in a row of decreasing inventory. Now, before we get to the next metric, I'm going to come back to this conversation of inventory again later in the video. This right here is the main reason I see our market exploding: lack of inventory. All right, last but not least, let's check out housing absorption by price range. This illustrates how competitive different price ranges are performing. When I first started tracking this 2 years ago, we had 1,300 homes priced under $250,000. Today, that number is only 95. So suffice to say, I am no longer going to bother with this price segment. So the first price range we're going to look at is $250,000 to $500,000. This represents about 60% of our entire market. As you can see right now, 69% of homes on the market in this price range are under contract. Next is $500,000 to $750,000. This decreases to 49%, a 2% increase from November's numbers. Now let's check out $750,000 to $1 million. This increased as well to 43%. Interestingly, the luxury market of $1 million to $1.5 million dropped tremendously to 33% from 40%. Now finally, we have the ultra luxury market. This increased 4% from 26 to 30. Now when you take the entire market combined, we're seeing 58%. In short, more than half of the homes on the market right now are already under contract. To add some perspective, April was the worst month of the year last year, with 71% of homes already under contract. Which leads me right back to this spring. Apart from a few internet trolls and conspiracy theorists with no evidence, just opinions, the general consensus is that this year will be similar to last year, just with slightly less price appreciation. For the most part, I actually agree with the pundits, but I want to explain to you why I see this happening. Now, moments ago, I explained to you that the peak of last year's market was actually in April. Now, while prices continue to increase throughout the rest of the year, what really blew things up was the lowest inventory in history during mid-March, March 10th to be precise. See, what happened last year was this. We entered the year with exceptionally low inventory. We saw 25 straight weeks of inventory declines. By the time inventory had completely bottomed out in March, like we discussed, the median price had risen over $20,000 in only the first 3 months of the year. Now, buyers who typically were going to move in summertime started looking at the market and panicked. Now, rather than wait and get priced out, they simply jumped on anything they could get their hands on. And guess what? 3 months later, in June of last year, the median price had risen another $30,000. Well, as psychologists say, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So now that we've studied the past, let's predict the future. At the time of the shooting, we now have about 1,000 less homes on the market than we did this same time last year. Now at this rate, by March, we should have only about 1,000 or so homes on the market. So basically that translates to a 1-week supply of homes. Now, how do you solve the problem of inventory? I don't think we can. See, the only way to create more inventory is to motivate homeowners to sell. Well, if they sell, they need to live somewhere else. So either you just leave the state altogether or you go and purchase a new home. Well, new homes are absurdly expensive in relation to resale homes right now. Not many people are willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars more for the same size home just because it's new. Most new homes are being sold to out-of-state buyers that are relocating here. This is why so many current homeowners are simply electing to remodel their house instead of buying a brand new one. So if we can agree that we can't motivate people to sell their homes, and we can physically see that our inventory is only 2/3 of what it was this time last year, it doesn't take a genius to conjecture that by this March, our market will be scorching hot. In reality, the current market is already difficult. The past 3 homes I've represented this month have had multiple offers and sold for well over the already high listing price. And we're talking about early January, no less. I assure you, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath come springtime. Now, before you go, I have to leave you with my "Are you for real?" segment. Overall, it was kind of a tame month, but I definitely got a kick out of this owner that decided it would be cool to mount their massive floor subwoofer 5 feet high on the wall next to the television. Definitely one of the more odd decorative choices I have seen. So that's it for this month, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to share with your friends and definitely subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful January, and I'll see you all next month.